One thing I'll tell you is after a day of F1 testing, you'll never feel pain in your neck like that. It's like someone's just sat on your head.
F2, how's that going this year?
I wouldn't say everything's gone smoothly.
There were obviously a couple of mistakes. You had one at Spa.
We go into this. Oh no, Kush Maini!
Obviously, yeah, Spa wasn't the finest hour. That was tough because, you know, I got death threats and stuff after that. All right, give me a pickup line. I'm the cute girl.
Did you just come out the oven? Because
do I look big, bruv? What's up?
yeah, you look
Juicy.
yeah juicy.
Wait, when I
as hell.
talk, can I just look at you, right? Because this is my
What? Where the f else are you gonna look?
podcast, bruv.
Will you look at the wall? Do you want to intro me? Okay, I'll intro.
Let's hear it then. This is gonna be so.
Here we
difficult.
go.
Hi kids! Welcome back to Backseat Drivers Podcast. Jordan, introduce our guest.
So today we actually have a very good friend of ours. We've known him for a while. So if we take the piss out of him, it's not a.
Just carry on, mate.
Sorry,
Don't worry.
I can't do intros.
All right. Hi kids! Welcome back to Backseat Drivers Podcast. Jordan, introduce our guest.
So today we actually have one of India's finest drivers. He goes by the name of Kush Maini. He's a brand new guest to BSD.
He is.
No, let's do it again. I can't. Sorry.
Why are you tensing up?
I don't know.
All right, okay.
I hate the intro.
All right, okay.
All right, let's do it once more. You just do it.
I'll do it. Right. Hi, kids. Welcome back to Backseat Drivers Podcast. Today, we're joined by a close friend and epic driver from India, Kush Maini.
Hello, everyone.
How are you, Bush?
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you, mate. You're probably the most high-profile guest we've had on here.
Yeah, he is. He's basically a celebrity.
We've done quite well. We've had really good guests, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean,
Enzo was a really good one.
which other ones have
We've
you
had
Sorry,
Abby.
I've deleted Instagram.
We've been
recently,
really-
so I have no idea what's happening in the world.
Mate, one of your clips we did for you did well. We'll roll that over this now.
We did a meme of you when you went, "My name Jeff."
Oh, right, okay.
So give our viewers a bit of a context as to who you are, what you're doing if they don't know who you are.
Yeah. So I'm Kush Maini, from India. I've been racing for a while now. I'm in Formula 2 in my second year. I'm an Alpine Academy driver. A Mahindra Reserve driver in Formula E. And yeah, I'm 23 years old. What else do you want to know, bro?
A lot. We want to know everything.
Everything.
Also, by the way, if we take the piss out of Kush, it's because we actually know him. We've known him for
you guys
ages.
can probably tell more about me than I
we
can.
haven't just met him.
So, F2, how's that going this year?
It's had its moments, but I wouldn't say everything's gone smoothly. Obviously started off very strong, fighting for pole in the first 2 races.
Let's listen to Maini.
Top 3-1 at the moment here, mate. Brilliant, mate. Brilliant.
Then we had a small hiccup in Imola, which took a couple races to figure out. And then, to be honest, we've been lost a couple of races where we've been really off the pace, and some races fighting for wins. So it's been very up and down. I think definitely not shown our potential as a team. I think we have a great car, but we haven't been able to extract it on some weekends. So yeah, it's been a bit disappointing. I don't feel like I've shown what I've wanted to show. I've shown flashes of it, but not consistently. So yeah, I would say it's had its moments, but definitely not the year I was envisioning.
But it's so up and down in F2, isn't it? Like the caliber of drivers, especially this year, is insane. I mean, we've got Behrman going to F1 next year, Kimi Antonelli going to F1, Colapinto's just stepped up to F1. We know there's other drivers in the talks maybe going to F1 next year. It's like, what's it like being in that environment? Well, how does it compare to, you've done FIA F3, you had a year out before that. Actually, let's just go back. What happened? Because you've obviously had your kind of career leading up. Then you had a year out, and I remember you speaking to me, and you were like, "This might just be the end, like, of my career, basically, or full-time racing career." So, what happened in that year, and how did FIA F3 happen for you?
Yeah, I've had like the weirdest career, man. It's not been normal.
Yeah.
Obviously, I got into FIF3 quite late. And that year we were just talking about, that was a tough year for me, 2021. I remember doing Asian F3. We had a plan of doing FIF3 in 2021. And Asian F3, I remember we were really quick in testing and practice, and everything was going well. And we got to quali, and you know, every race we're just nowhere, like way off the pace. I was with my teammate in that race was Jayan, obviously a high profile driver at the time as well, from Formula 2. So yeah, just I don't want to go deep into what happened there, but just basically was really slow, and couldn't really do much about it, which was really frustrating because, you know, back then I wasn't like a high profile driver. I wasn't like someone who you expected to do well. So I was kind of like the underdog. And that was my chance to just show what I can do in front of like these Formula 2 drivers and stuff. But yeah, I just didn't have the chance. Like I said, how can I put it? Just really slow in the straights.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's racing. And because we did poorly in that championship, that took away the chance to do FIF3 that year because it took away funding and etc. So that was when I was really down in the dumps. That year was really tough for me. Actually got into Muay Thai and I started fighting to try and get like a kick out of life because you know I was after doing racing for so many years, you're suddenly just sitting at home doing nothing.
Yeah.
It's like a shock to the system.
I know all about that, mate.
And
Same. But every year.
Yeah, I think we all know. So yeah, that was a really tough year mentally. I think it really, in a way, shaped me to who I am today because it really took me through some dark times. I think we were talking when I was in the dumps, so you guys know what I mean. But yeah, that was obviously to overcome that, and then suddenly I was in Formula 3, which I wasn't expecting because I was done with single seaters, and I was in Formula 3. Obviously showed flashes of speed, but didn't, you know, have the consistency. So I was still like on the edge of can he do it, can he not? And I was a bit old. And then F2 first year went really well, and suddenly I was like a prime candidate again. So, you know, from 2021 to sitting here now talking about F1 tests and everything, it's not a normal, you know, all the younger kids like Bam and Antonelli and stuff, you know, they have a very normal career where, you know, they win, and you know, they're scoped out from a young age, whereas I've had a very odd career that way, where I've just, you know, come and gone, and somehow I'm sitting here now still fighting. So yeah.
And actually I've got so many questions about F2 and what you're up to now, but before we do that, Kush, we've actually got a challenge. Right, it's called the BBC, it's called the Backseat Bop It Challenge. Have you played Bop It before?
No.
Right, okay, so how it works, I'll give you a demo if you want.
He knows his way around a BBC, Jordan.
Right, so basically what you got to do, this guy inside the machine is going to tell you, there he is, he's going to tell you what button to press. So it's either twist it, pull it, or bop it. Right, he's going to sleep.
What do you do when he goes to sleep?
Well, we just got to start again. So I'll give you a demo, yeah?
Yeah, go on.
Right, so you press bop it.
Score 100.
It's going to be hard with a mic.
Bop it. Twist it. Pull it. Twist it.
Get it?
Yeah, I got it.
And then if you miss it,
Hello.
it's game over.
Kush
And
seems so impressed.
It gives you a score at
Give me
the end.
that bro.
Right, okay, so to start it, you just got to pull the... what's the high score so far? 12 to beat.
I think it's Josh Hill. Josh Hill got 12.
Josh Hill got 12 to beat, all right?
Jordan's got 100. He smashed the machine.
How many times have you played this, bro?
I
I thought you were working all this time.
Right, pull the...
You get
pull
a
it.
practice run and then proper run.
Okay.
Bop it. Twist it. Pull it. Pull it.
Smashing the mic.
Bop it.
Bro, you don't distract me.
Twist it.
Try not to smash the mic, otherwise it makes like a vibration.
Gus, bro, stop talking, bro.
No.
That was the warm-up, so now it's the real thing. This counts here.
Guys, tell him to stop talking.
All right, I'll shut up. I'm sorry.
Bop it. Twist it. Pull it. Twist it.
going on?
Ollie. Bobby.
That's an aggressive pull.
Twisting. Bobby. Ollie.
Oh, it's getting faster.
Ollie. Ollie. Twisting.
Oh, he's on a roll, mate.
Bobby.
Bro.
Bobby. Ollie. Twisting. Twisting.
Oh my god.
Oh. Ollie. Bobby. Twisting. Bobby. Ollie. Twisting. Ollie.
Mate.
Listen.
Concentrate. Score 41.
41.
41.
New high score.
Right, that's well done. You're P1.
Tough. I'm behind him though.
So Formula 2, you're racing it this year. It's really tough championship, obviously. The whole grid is just stacked of talent, yeah? Let's face facts, right? What? Why are you laughing? Is it how I'm asking the question? Right, serious question.
Yeah.
Give people an idea of how tough F2 is.
I think obviously a good example is the first 3 rounds. I mean, I looked the quickest driver on the grid, and it can change so quick. Where if you don't feel 100% with the car in practice, why the f*** is this guy laughing?
Sorry.
What's wrong with you, bro?
It's just because he started laughing, sorry.
Did I laugh, bro?
Sorry.
Shut up, Jordan.
Sorry.
Right.
My bad. Yes, I knew this would be
Yeah, where was I? When you don't feel 100% with the car in free practice, you obviously don't have a lot of time to turn things around.
Because you don't get 3, just for the viewers, you don't get like 3 like F1 do. You don't get FP1, 2 and 3. You just get FP quali.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. And quali is a different compound than free practice, lower fuel, so it feels like a different car, to be honest. Tracks rub it in, so there's not a lot of time. So you really got to be, you really got to work well with your team and know where you're going to start with the car and expect what to feel. And as soon as things don't go your way in free practice, you're already panicking a bit because you don't have a lot of time. And like you said, F2 is very difficult, especially this year. That a couple of tens can mean a complete different weekend. So it's a lot of pressure, and you really got to get everything right. Yeah, it's details.
So if you want to become a racing driver like some of our lovely guests and you're not really sure how to start because it seems like you need a lot of money and family connections that know the industry, etc. Well, now you have the perfect opportunity to prove you have what it takes on a completely level playing field. That's why we've created Forseti. Forseti is an online platform that guides you on how to start your racing driver journey and helps you develop your skills to climb up the ladder. We host time attacks every single week, and if you're the fastest driver, we put you straight into a car and integrate you in an established esports team racing against some of the best talent in the world. So if you think you're the best thing since sliced bread and you have what it takes, make sure to sign up at forsetirace.com. Link is also in the description. Back to the podcast.
And how was it going back just a little bit, your first kind of step into the limelight as FIF3, right? That's when you suddenly go from like, not a nobody to a somebody, but like in the public eye, a lot of people actually watch F3 and a lot more people obviously watch F2. What's it like dealing with that kind of pressure? Was there a change in you going into FIF3? Like, oh my God, this is big.
Yeah, I think obviously coming from a country like India, we don't have a lot of drivers at the top level. We don't have the infrastructure for us, we have to travel miles, thousands of miles to is it thousands of miles, bro? That's wrong. That's like to the moon, bro. we have to travel a lot, and at a young age,
I think it is.
leave home, and it's in a way it's a lot harder for us. We leave everything we really know in our culture, and then we come live in a different country without family, and obviously friends until I met you guys, but. In that way, coming into FIF3, obviously you're the only Indian driver that year. There is a lot of pressure, and you know that you want to perform if you want to move up. Obviously, when you don't have tons of funding, and you're blessed with some sponsors, you want to give them results, and there's a lot of pressure that builds up in that sense. because you know it could be your last year, especially from the route I've taken. Every year could have been my last year. So I think I've learned how to sort of deal with that pressure, and I'm actually glad that it came at such a young age, because now it just feels normal, and now it feels like when I go through a low, I can handle it a lot better than I could in the past.
Yeah. And what about, like, is it a bit of a shock to the system? I remember once, obviously, you had some great results. You had, like, Bahrain the first weekend of F3, you qualified third. You were straight on the radar of, like, junior programs, etc. But then there were obviously a couple of mistakes. You had one at Spa. One at Spa where you were going for a move, outbreak yourself.
And played bowling.
Yeah.
It's just F3.
Yeah.
Last corner.
Took out quite a few people.
Into this again. Oh no, Kush Maini has gone straight into the side there.
What's that like? Because I feel like in most championships, like what I do or what Jordan's done in the past, we don't really get that much backlash for that kind of thing. But as soon as you're in F3, F2, F1, obviously it compounds and gets worse the further up you go. But what was that like dealing with social media backlash? Did you not check it? Is it just like, was it a bit of a shock to the system, or was it just like, oh, whatever?
Well, this year I've sort of gone off Instagram and stuff. I need to sneeze.
Nice cough as well.
Yeah. Obviously, Spa wasn't the finest hour of my career. I definitely felt, when you do something like that, it's, it's in all the highlight reels. It's like in the center of attention, and that wasn't the best attention to grab. That was tough because, I got death threats and stuff after that.
Really?
Yeah. So it's like FI, F3 and F2. It's weird, even now, bro, it's like, you're polling it in let's say you win a race or you're on the podium, everyone loves you and you're the next big thing, and then you have a few bad races. No one really knows what's happening inside. No one has the full picture, so it's tough, but suddenly you become crap again. So I think it's very unhealthy. Sometimes, obviously, there's a lot of support I get as well from my countrymen, and that I really like that, and it really fuels me. But there's a lot of unnecessary hate, and which really took away from like F3 and stuff. It took away from the love of the sport, because I was focused a lot on that, and it took away what I was going to do every day, and what I was enjoying. So this year I just decided to just take a step back, and you just feel a lot better. You focus more on the present moment, and you focus more on what's happening on track, and every little second of the day. So yeah.
Yeah, because people don't really know what's going on. Let's be honest.
Yeah, like you can be struggling, racing is very complicated. Okay, in tennis, you can have your off day or bad day in any sport, but in the end, you have yourself to blame. In racing, there's a bit of a gray area when you just don't feel like one with the car. And you can be the same driver as you were when you were pulling it or winning, but if you don't feel good in that car on that day, there's it's not just one way. It's there can be reasons that it's happening, and obviously people don't look at that. They just go straight to the conclusion that you've become shit. But there's a lot more that goes into racing, and that's why it's mentally a very tough sport.
Yeah, but even through all of that, you've obviously done enough to get onto the Alpine Academy. So tell us how that came about, and obviously, and also your first day, because actually you've explained about your first day. We want to hear the story again.
Okay, so obviously 2023, my F2 year, started off really well, and I think every race really we were on it in quali and just missing a bit in the races. But for a rookie, I think Alpine were really impressed with the pace and the promise I was showing. So the conversation about the academy started quite early, but sort of in that break between Abu Dhabi and the one before, so that long break we have in F2, that's when we got seriously talking to them and discussing, and that's when we sort of signed it. It was a dream come true, obviously, watching Arjun, my brother. He was with Haas many years ago, and it was always sort of my dream to be in a driver academy, and obviously talk about like 2021 and all those difficulties. I never thought that it would happen. So to do that was kind of like a milestone in my life.
Yeah, big moment.
Yeah, and yeah, just to be associated with an F1 team and know that you're going to be testing an F1 car the next year is surreal. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
unbelievable.
so anyone insecure about the road car they drive.
This is a good one.
So obviously, so tell us about that first day when you rocked up at Alpine Academy. It's your first day. It's a big day, right? But there's like security and everything. Like,
Yeah.
talk us through that whole experience.
So yeah, I drive. Just to put it, I drive a Chrysler. I think you can put it up in the screen.
bang
You
on.
have a
Bang
you have a
on.
very nice photo of it. I just need a car that gets me from A to B.
Yeah,
To be
yeah.
honest, I can't be asked like going fast or whatever. I just chill. If you see me on the road, you'll think like I'm a grandpa or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do drive slow on
Yeah,
the road.
I just enjoy it, mate. Like
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
chill.
Just
There's
cruising.
no point rushing.
And
Just cruising,
sorry,
bro.
this is on the same topic, but and you don't listen to any music.
Sometimes it's just because my radio doesn't work. I would.
Oh, in the car.
I
Bro,
would-
Bro doesn't have Bluetooth.
Bro, Bluetooth, no chance. But the radio doesn't work.
got a tape deck, bro. Put CDs in.
I need a vinyl player in the car.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I would listen to music. It's just I can't. But that's good, you know. You just sit there with your own thoughts. Sometimes it gets a bit loud in the head.
But
But
that's like a meditation. Oh, you told me you do it like sometimes on a long drive. You just won't listen to radio. Well, you don't have radio, but you won't listen to anything. You won't like do anything. Just literally just drive.
yeah,
Sing to
yeah.
yourself.
Sometimes depends, you know. Some days it's tougher than other days. Some days the mind is really has a lot of thoughts. Like after a bad race, especially, like you just have so many thoughts going through your head, and that's when it's really tough to just block the noise out. But anyways, back to the story.
Yeah.
So I was driving to Alpine. You know, my car is obviously not in the best shape.
Yeah.
And I got to the main gate, and you know, I obviously stopped there. It was my first day, and I was just gonna do like I think it was a sim session and like a little photo shoot or whatever. And the security looked at me. I put the window down, and he's like, "So who are you?" And I was like, "I have an appointment with." I gave a name for the sim or whatever. And he was like, "Let me check." And then I was like, "Yeah, I'm you know, Alpine's Formula 2 driver." And he looked at me for a second, and he looked at my car, and he was like, "The fuck, man?" You trying to joke with me? But I was just like, obviously I didn't have any Alpine kit or anything, so it took me a while to get in, but when I got in, everything was fine. And then on the way out, I you know, had my Alpine hat. So I was like,
merch on. Yeah.
But yeah, that was funny. I don't think people will like ever believe that an F2 driver is driving that car, but I love it, man. It's just, and you can park it so easily as well.
Yeah,
There's no
it's small
stress.
enough
Yeah.
to just get in anyway, yeah.
And you're never gonna be around like F2 is so busy and F1's even busier, but like we barely see you.
Yeah.
And you train at iZone sometimes as well, and obviously you've got to be around here for Alpine sim stuff. But there's not much point in having a fancy car here anyway.
Yeah.
Because
No,
you're never going to
exactly,
use
yeah.
it.
Get round.
Yeah, and people ask me, you know, I'm not really,
Yeah,
for
you're not
me,
into
it's
that,
it's
yeah.
just something to drive to get to places, and I don't need a fancy car right now. Maybe in the future, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
So obviously, so I was going to say as well, as soon as you walked in, you wanted to tell about your Formula One tests. So last week, you were at Imola.
Yeah.
Just like, tell us about that. It's just mad. It's like so cool just seeing that online.
Yeah, after one thing I'll tell you is after a day of F1 testing, like you do 500 kilometers or whatever, you'll never feel pain in your neck like that. Like,
Really?
Yeah. It's like someone's just sat on your head. It's
Really?
Unbelievable. You think, you know, you do all this training and stuff, but nothing can fully prepare you for a day in an F1 car. Us as like F2 drivers, obviously F2 is already quite quick, in a quali run at least. But that step up, you don't realize how big it is until you actually drive it. And it's just like the F1 car, it's just, in a way, it's a lot easier to drive than an F2 car. Because it's so well engineered that, you know, it just does what you want. You
Doesn't move around.
no,
I guess.
you get into a corner, and whatever you believe you want the car to do, it does. You know, it sticks to the ground. It's traction is obviously tricky because there's so much power, but like high speed corners, it's just planted, and in a way, it gives you a lot of confidence as a driver. Obviously, to find the last few tenths is difficult in anything, but to get up to speed, actually, it gives you a lot of confidence because it's so well engineered that it does what you want. So as a driver, it's like a dream to drive. It's so enjoyable.
Were you shocked how late you could brake? So I keep cutting.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's like, Imola, like Acqua Minerale, the first ride.
Yeah.
Obviously in F2 is like a break, and in an F1 it's like nearly flat. So it's like, it's some big differences, but it just sticks. You just have to trust it, but it does, there's zero movement. And obviously with F1, there's so many switches you can play around with that, let's say in the middle of a race run, you're starting to have some instability on entry. You can actually like just tweak the entry diff and lock it for the entries. So, from then on, the diff is locked on entries. It gives you that stability and gives you that confidence back. So, while you're in the car in like F2, if you start having issues, you have to give your feedback after the session and then work on setup. In F1, you can actually just tweak it in the car. So yeah, it's very important to know what's happening with the car, and I think that's where some great drivers make a difference, where they know exactly what's happening. I know Alonso plays a lot with the switches, and so you got to really understand what's happening in the car, and it's not just driving. That's what I would say with F1. There's so many things you have to think about.
And would you say that's why there's some stars in F2 that go to F1 and flop?
Yeah.
Would you say that's why? I mean, there's obviously the pressure of it as well. I just think everything in F1, nothing can prepare you.
Yeah, look, F1 and F2, obviously every driver's at a certain level. They're quick, they can get into anything and be fast. But in F1, there's so much more that goes into it because it's not a one-make series. You got to really develop the car with your team. Your feedback's got to be on point. You got to work well with everyone in the team, and there's a lot of debriefing, a lot of data, a lot of feedback that goes into each weekend, each sim session. So it's not just about being fast in F1. Teams look for professional drivers, people who give good feedback, people who they know they can work with, because it's so much more important than just being 1/10 quicker than the other driver. It's getting the car quicker because there's more potential there, getting the upgrades right, and so it's a lot more in depth than F2. F2 obviously it's a single make. Yes, you have loads of setup differences, and some cars can work on each days, but at the end, you can drive, and if your car feels good, you can make the difference. In F1, there's such a spectrum of different cars that it's you got to really work closely with your engineers.
Like, what is that kind of detail though? Because a lot of drivers will say, "Oh, I'm understeering here or oversteering there, losing traction here." Like, with your test at Imola, give us an example of like if there's a corner where you're struggling, how much detail do you go into with your engineer?
Yeah. So obviously, normally you split it into your low speed, medium speed, and high speed. Normally F1's map maybe for like 1 or 2 high speeds in Imola. But yeah, let's say, the second chicane, I feel, or let's say after the second chicane, so Tosa, you feel a little movement on the entry, and then you go into understeer. So actually, what you think is the understeer mid corner, but actually what's causing it is that little instability on entry. So then you actually go into the settings. The engineers are always on it. They have live data. They have everything that's going on. So they tell you to make a tweak on the entry switch, and then suddenly your entry is sorted, and then you can work on the understeer. But it's like small things, and you really, instead of just going, I have understeer in this corner, it's like, okay, I have movement on entry, and that's causing the understeer. So you go into detail, and then you sort it out, But if you just say I have understeer, then that's not going to work because the main issue is coming from the entry.
Mate, you told me about that data sheet thing that you have to know everything on. Mate, looking at that looked like trying to crack Enigma. I have never seen anything more. I'm not a Bush Maini, right? And I'm not like a F1, F2, F3 single seater driver, but I didn't know 99% of the words that were on that.
What, like the terminology and...
Yeah, just everything, mate. Is that a headache? Like,
that's why he's in F2 and not us. F1, I mean.
No, it's...
Fix up, Bush.
It's, no, it's definitely, like, daunting when you first, like, you're going through your prep day and there's so many more things you have to think about. But in the end, those things are just there to guide you. I did scare you a bit. I just gave you the sheet.
Yeah, mate.
I don't need to know every single thing.
Okay.
Even I don't know some of the words on it.
Yeah. You're just like...
No, but yeah, it's definitely a lot more info, and it's there to guide you. And of course, the more you know it, the better chance you have of understanding everything that's going on in a day and your own plan and everything involved in driving. But you don't have to know every single thing in the end. Sometimes for your first day, actually, for my first day, I just cut it down. Even though there was so much info coming, I was just like, I'm just going to go drive and then we'll take it from there.
Mate, talk to me about that first day.
Yeah,
That lead up, I mean...
No, it's honestly like, it's really scary once you get in, and then, you know, your out lap, you put the power down and your neck goes back and everything. But then, mate, once you get used to it, the car is so well designed that it gives you so much confidence that you can just push straight away.
You saw that with Anton, I mean, who's obviously done testing as well. But like Antonelli at Monza, obviously his first like 3 laps were great. And then he lobbed it.
Yeah. The thing with F1 is like, it gives you so much confidence until it doesn't.
Easy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And when it snaps,
It's gone.
it goes, mate. Like there's no... Once you have like a huge snap, it's
You're
like
screwed.
a miracle to save it.
Yeah.
And also just like, I guess as soon as you snap enough, all the aero is basically gone.
You disturb the whole platform and you know, there's no power steering as well.
There's no setting
so
on the
you-
wheel that you could adjust to save that.
Yeah, mate. Imagine midway through a spin, diff.
Yeah, Antonelli, why'd you just do that, bro?
No, but yeah, once it goes, and because it gives you so much confidence that sometimes if you push too early, it gives you like fake confidence.
Yeah.
And then you have like a huge moment, and then your confidence just falls back down. So it is very tricky to get right. But what I will say is, like, to get up to a certain speed, it's such a nice it goes so well through curbs. Obviously the aero is so good, and everything's designed so well that it is easy to get up to speed, but it is also easy to go over that limit, and then there's no saving it, you know, and that's like 10 million pounds if you're lucky.
Yeah. Have you been over that limit?
No, thankfully not.
You haven't?
Close.
Okay.
Really?
Close.
Big moments.
Big moments.
Big moments. But your first test, like, or even just now, I mean, what, you've had 2-3 tests now?
So I've done 2 full days.
Okay.
Yeah, so
How, like, is there not, I can just imagine the pressure I would feel in that situation, but I've obviously not grown up doing Formula 3 and Formula 2. But is there not like is the level of professionalism looks and must be so much higher? Like, I know F2 is professional with the team and stuff, but F1's a whole nother level.
Yeah.
There's like hundreds of people there on that day just for you.
mate, it's crazy. Like, you rock up and there's 3 trucks for one car. There's so many tires. You yawning, bro?
No. I did. I was reacting. I was
Boring,
like,
mate.
no, that wasn't a yawn. I was
Just
like,
shut up.
Anyways, like,
I was being reacting. I was like, I was doing a noise to react to your 3 trucks. Anyway, continue.
Anyway, carry on.
And 3 trucks, 3 massive trucks, and so many tires, like 3 garages just for one car. And when you come in for that, and you see it, and you're like, what if I lob it into the wall?
Yeah.
But no, it's definitely daunting. It's so much. You finish your run, and then you're already on the engineer. The run plan runs so, you know, you do like 500 kilometers a day, which is, you don't even do that on the sim sometimes in a whole day. So
No wonder your neck's
yeah. And but it's so detailed. Every run plan is run to exactly what was planned, and it's just so structured. But it's so cool, man. Yeah, it's definitely nerve-wracking. Like, I don't think you definitely, like, every day you get used to the car and stuff, but that situation, like arriving on prep day and seeing all that, I don't think you'll ever get used to it.
That's crazy.
How's your pace compared to, I don't know if you like had other drivers there on the day that you can compare to, but you must know vaguely where you're at in terms of pace. How fast were you in the F1 car?
I think it was very strong. More importantly, worked really well with the engineers, gave good feedback, which is what they were looking for. And like I said, at F2 level, your pace will be good. Everyone's quick.
Yeah.
But pace was very strong, both short runs and long runs. But yeah, more importantly, worked really well with the team, and then they were really happy as well. So I would say successful 2 days, and now we're just trying to build on that and see what the future holds.
So
Yeah,
what
nice, man.
do you have to do, and how realistic is it? We know you can do it. We know you've got the talent to do it. How and what do you have to do to make the F1 dream reality?
You know, it's definitely still a dream. In the sense that's where I want to go. Nothing else is gonna like satisfy me right now. And as I do feel it's getting closer, and these F1 tests are really building towards it. I've noticed that F2, there's a lot of things that got to go right. Like, I know I'm confident that I'm one of the quickest drivers in Formula 2, but, you know, so many things have to go your way, and almost the stars have to align in Formula 2 that you got to be almost the chosen one. Obviously, experience will help with that. And it's not been the year I would have liked, but I think I've proven myself in flashes, and obviously my F1 tests as well, which help. Now we'll see the future, but that's definitely my goal and my only goal right now.
Yeah, it's a good question from Gus, because we were talking.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, it's all right. We ask the odd
You're
good
gonna yawn
question
again.
every now and then. But like, if you look at F2,
Yeah.
previous champions, Drogovic, Pourchaire, don't have an F1 seat as it stands. So clearly it's not just about winning in F2, is it? Antonelli and Behrman have been promoted, and they obviously have won races, but you've got to do more than just F2. Is it like the relationship you have with the team? Obviously, you've got to be fucking quick. You've got to win races, but like Doohan, for example, has made the step, hasn't won the championship in F2. So it's not about winning the championship in F2. So what is that ingredient? Is it like, you're showing the performance on the F1 test, but is it on the sim as well? Like, there's got to be more to it.
No, I mean, there's a lot of things that go into it. Obviously, your F1 tests are probably the most important thing for the team to see how you operate in a high pressure environment, and how you operate professionally, how you are with the team. That's very important to tick every box.
And they must compare you with like,
of
people
course,
like Doohan,
yeah.
right?
Of course, 100%, yeah. And especially the academy drivers, we're always like, it's always like you're put on like a day after or a day before the other drivers, so they get a good comparison or whatever. But they look a lot more just into speed. It's the whole picture. Obviously, one is doing well in F2. I think, like you know, even though I've got 5 podiums, a win and a pole, and it's still like, you obviously know that the talent's there and you can do it on your day, but can you do it consistently? And even if you don't feel great in the moment with your car or whatever, it's like, can you work with your team to overcome that? That's what they all look at, because Alpine know what's been happening this year, and then they're fully but they expect you to take the step, because even if you're in your hard times, you got to be able to extract it. So those are very important. I think you still do have to do exceptionally well in Formula 2. One more is, you know, I'm obviously Indian, which is really going to help my chances. For the market, in the end, F1 is a business, and you know, it's what you can bring to the table. Obviously, it comes thirdly, but it is a factor, and it is a big help right now. Obviously, it wasn't a help when I had to travel when I was 12 years old, but now definitely a help.
I think coming from a country like that, it's just so good for your career, because I see it with some Danish drivers as well. I mean, I know Denmark and India are very, very different places, but Denmark's got such a small population of like 5 million. It's like half of London. So, and same with like Norway and Sweden or whatever, even people in F3, F2, they get so much exposure in that country. They become like a little minor celebrity there.
Yeah.
And I guess, obviously, India's got a population of like over 1 billion, isn't it? Like loads of people. But obviously, due to the nature of the country, and it's, you know, not everyone there. It's not a, don't know how to put that in a politically correct way. It's not a very wealthy country. You know, there's a lot of people that are in poverty, etc. So it's very rare that you're going to get a driver on their way to F1 with the backing and the right support behind them. How has that been? Have you become a bit of a... Do you get recognised when you go back to India?
Yeah, you must be a celebrity.
Thing is, India is so big, like you said. First of all, I love going home. That's like my
I bet
favorite
you do.
time in the year. Yeah. But
Yeah, you're not a fraudulent Indian. You actually do live there. don't
yeah,
you?
I mean, I try to go there every chance I get. I love it. But you do get recognized now and then on the street. But also, it's such a big country that a lot of people. It's an untapped market in a way. If you really tap it, like if F1 really appeals to like every kid and it's a normal sort of thing to watch, then it can be big. But obviously we've barely scratched the surface.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people know, but the people that know are so into it and they love it. So that was, one of my goals as well, like getting on this ladder to Formula One to make it and hopefully change the narrative for our country. So, younger kids, they have like a sort of way to follow and a way to go, and they know that it's possible. Obviously, it's a sport which you need a lot of funding and backing, but I hope one day I can help the country achieve a sort of structure to help kids who want to do it.
Yeah. And how about when you cruise around in Milton Keynes?
No
Not
one
quite
gives
Do you ever get noticed
my
in the
car,
UK?
bro. I hope not in my car.
No, whenever we go to Waggers, like it's just like no one
I can
knows.
still be normal. Obviously, race
My car
weekends you
declines.
get recognized,
Yeah.
but no, it's still chill for me.
Yeah.
It's still quite chill.
Got to make the most of it, mate. Got to be an F1 in a couple of years.
Yeah, you gotta make it happen.
So what's the plan then for next year? Is there anything on the horizon with Alpine? Is there any potential opportunities? Obviously not an F1. F1's pretty much full next year. We know roughly what the grid's going to look like. But if you were to get into F1, let's say like best case scenario, is 2026 possible?
Obviously, reserve seats open.
Yeah.
That's a big goal of mine.
Yeah, 'cause Doohan's gone.
Yeah. That's a way you can put your foot in. Whether that's F2 again or not, we'll still have to see. I obviously feel I have a lot more to give in Formula 2. I don't feel like this year I got to show everything I can do. I think we saw flashes of it, but I don't feel satisfied with how it's fully gone. So time will tell, but definitely the main thing is Formula 1 is definitely still the goal.
Yeah. And actually, I want to know about your strategies this year. Your face there. So Monza on the weekend. When you stay out and go long, are you hoping that there's another safety car?
Well, what you hope, like that race, actually, we had one of the best pace because, we had all the tires and we kept it going. And the pace was actually like, obviously, Gabriel passed
How
me and went
does your
away.
teammate get into... How did he end up in first?
Because he went long on the super soft and the safety car came on like lap 8. So
he jumped everywhere.
majority pitted on like lap 6, but he obviously pitted with the safety car.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, he had great pace, but he had the newer tires. So actually, our pace was the two best of the grid. So it could have fallen anyway. If there was no safety car, I could have probably challenged for the win. If there was a safety car on lap 20, then, I mean, that's like a win gifted to me. So, it's
It's a bit of a lottery, isn't it?
If it fell the other way, we'd be sitting here and being like, you're such a genius. But
I know. F2 is just mad though.
Exactly
So
what I
much
mean,
talent this year. That's like the cars have just been all over the place. And we can edit this out, but half the grid weren't getting off the line at the start of the year. It's so painful to watch.
when you look back on my season as well, like just looking back at mine, everyone has this. But just looking at strategy mistakes or like unlucky moments, you've lost like 60 points, 70 points. That's like top 3 in the championship to where I am. So what F2 is very. Your stars have got to align and everything has got to go your way. It's very risky.
Is that why you also see some? I think the answer is yes, but that's why you see some drivers that kind of do all right in F2 and they end up in F1 because the F1 team actually knows how good they really are. Because their team might be underperforming, they've had a bit of bad luck. Take Antonelli as an example, Behrman as an example this year. I know he obviously showed himself in F2 the year before, but like. Antonelli's had two wins, sprint races. Well, I'm not too sure, but it's not been like a massive standout year where he's blown away everyone, But they know that the team, Primo, have struggled this year, but it's very up and down, sort of pole one weekend, P15 the next. And it's kind of the same with you guys as well, isn't it? Like you start the year pole. It feels like you're either like you don't consistently, and it's kind of same with everyone. There's not a consistent top 6
No.
No.
or top 5, whatever. It's
But-
just jumbled.
Yeah, it is. It is a confusing season, but for sure, Mercedes will have their reasons for taking Kimi. Anyone in the top 10 in Formula 2
Yeah.
are capable enough to jump in and be strong. When an F1 team makes a decision like putting in a driver or a reserve driver, whatever, they have their reasons, and they know a lot more than you do. So you got to just trust it.
Especially straight into a top team.
Yeah, exactly. And for such a young kid, I mean, they obviously have a lot of hopes on him, and they have a lot of confidence in him, which is great to see. It's great to see these. Sort of our batch in F2 getting a chance. So many of us. So it's great to see after so many years.
So you've got now, what was it, like middle of last year or start of last year, Mika Hakkinen as your mentor / coach? What is he?
Mentor, yeah.
Okay. So what's he like, and what's he done for you in your career so far?
So much, just the support he's given me, to know that there's someone like that who believes in me. We speak a lot on the phone, or I see him in some race weekends, but any advice I need on how to overcome a challenging situation, whether it's on track or whatever, he's been through everything you can imagine. So he's been through his lows. He knows exactly what a driver tells himself after a bad race, so he knows how to pick you up and keep you motivated. And he's structured my team this year, my training team. So like off the track, it's very structured. He's definitely brought a massive change, a positive change.
He's very like noble, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what
he's such a great guy, man.
Does he pick you up like? I can imagine, although he's quite like, direct. He's Finnish, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got that kind of like direct approach, kind of like Kimi and blah blah blah, and Bottas. But is he also quite nurturing at the same time?
He's got such a great personality, and he's sort of like, I sound like I'm on a dating show. No, he's
My type on paper.
yeah. Okay. No, he's just, I don't know. Sometimes I have to pinch myself that it's him I'm talking to, and the advice he gives me, it's because it's coming from him as well. It hits you straight. It goes straight in your head. Sometimes you get advice that just
You're not
fucks off.
questioning him, are you?
No.
Never.
So with Mika, has he ever given you like a bit of a bollocking? Have you ever come off and been complaining about something and he's like, Kush, fix up, mate?
Sometimes, yeah. I remember Spa was a tough one. Where I was like a second and a half off the pace, Good times. Yeah. And I had a hard time with him there. And yeah, he really gets you to focus on things sometimes you overlook. Which is why he's a world champion. He looks into every little detail, and to get that knowledge from him is just such a blessing.
Fabulous.
Well,
Say a few jokes, bro.
There are some funny bits in there,
yeah.
don't worry. I know it's been
I've got
quite
a joke.
serious, but
you say you want to hear a joke?
Yeah.
Right. So, let's see. I've got pickup lines.
All right, give me a pickup line. I'm the cute girl.
All right. Okay.
Your girlfriend's gonna kill you, bro.
Yeah, she will. Right. So, did you just come out the oven because
You calling me brown? You being racist?
Did you come out the oven because you're
Well, that's
hot?
a short right there. That's one of the short videos.
yeah, 100%.
100%.
I'll tell a joke.
I can
Did
say
you
it.
come out of the oven?
I can say it, I guess.
You
right.
can say it.
Did you come out of the oven because you're hot? I used that
that's
one
our
on my
time,
girl.
innit?
Yeah, that's it, mate. Nice to have you on the show,
Gus,
mate.
Your turn.
All right, I'll just... This long face. Right, set, bruv. I think we're done, aren't we?
Yeah, no,
Thanks
thanks
for
for
that.
coming today, Kush.
Thank you. I
know
hope
you
it was
don't do.
hope it was a good episode.
That'll be
It was
really good.
Yeah, really interesting. And I know you don't do podcasts usually, so we appreciate you coming
Makes
for an
sense.
exclusive episode.
Exclusive
No,
Bush
I'm just
podcast.
hanging around.
I love you, Bush. Thanks for coming on, honey.
Thank you,
for having me.
Kush.
Thank
Good luck. I want to see you in F1, bruv.